are designed to give students a preview of what to expect in the school year ahead. They also give students the opportunity to meet and build relationships with their peers, with their teachers, and also ensuring that they feel a strong sense of connection in their school. One of the best things about our summer programs is that they're inclusive of all students, whatever their age, interests, or needs. From academics and arts to sports and enrichment, there is truly something for everyone. We made some intentional changes even to our academic summer programs this summer to make sure the experience is more holistic for our students. While the primary focus continues remaining helping these students catch up academically, they also had enrichment activities, including weekly field trips as part of their summer experience with CPS. And then there are our CT programs, which connect our students to exciting career paths. This summer, more than 600 CPS students are working in CT internships in companies like Microsoft, JP Morgan Chase, and Lurie Children's Hospital. I want to thank all of the educators, teachers, and staff who are making our summer programs possible. Especially, I want to highlight the leadership of Deputy Ali Mohammed, Deputy Chief in the Office of College and Career Success, Simone Mosley, Executive Director for Student Support and Engagement, and Eugene Robinson, our former Director of Student Engagement. Eugene recently moved into a new role as a Director of Black Student Success for the district, but this year's summer program success still belongs largely to him and his team. Under their leadership, CPS built a robust infrastructure dedicated specifically to out-of-school time programming during the school year, but also in the summer. As a result, the past few years, we have seen more diverse program options, more students accessing this programming, and a growing number of partners working in our schools. I'll now invite these distinct members of our team to say a few words.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Eugene Robinson, Jr. As Chief mentioned, I'm the new Director of Black Student Success for Chicago Public Schools and the former Director of Student Engagement. I am very humbled for today and very proud of the work of the OST team, the entire team, and the amazing and innovative work of all schools. Their commitment and dedication and innovation is the reason for the success of OST in our summer programs. As a product of CPS and a Black boy from Inglewood, I have the strong belief that all kids should have access to high quality engaging programs is what's guided the work over the past several years. And so thank you, Chief, for this honor.
Thank you. Thank you for this honor. So as the leader, it's always important for me to let the team shine. So I just thank you for this recognition. This would not happen without the team, without the teachers, without all the staff that's doing this. And being from the far South Side, understanding the importance of being engaged in after-school activities. I thank the board, the district, everybody for playing a role in this, because this is all of us, not some of us, but all of us. So thank you so much, Sita.
Thank you, team. So now let's see how all these efforts play in our schools. It is now my pleasure to welcome two CPS principals whose schools have gone above and beyond this year when it comes to summer programming. They're Terry Thomas of Medgar Evers Elementary School and Sharnit Sims of York High School. Why are they honored? These are the two schools, elementary and high school, that had the highest percentage of students enrolled in summer programs based on their overall enrollment. Principal Thomas and her team began actually talking up about summer program back in April during parent-teacher conferences. They were intentional about recruiting students who needed some extra support academically, as well as those with disabilities, students who struggle with attendance, and students in temporary living situations. At York High School, Principal Sims was committed to giving her students a voice and a choice in their summer programming. This resulted in a wide range of options, from academic supports, mentoring, and transition planning to chess, art therapy, and podcast club. These programs are going a long way towards keeping York students on track to complete high school. I applaud both of these leaders and also their teams of teachers, counselors, staff, and external partners for the outstanding work that they have done this summer. And now I want to invite Principal Thomas to say a few words, followed by Principal Sims, who is joining us virtually.
Good morning. It is truly an honor to be recognized as having a successful OST program. I take it as being a small school. We only have 204 students, but we had over 50% of our students participate. And like Cito said, it wasn't just one population of students. We had our diverse students, our STLS students, our students that had high absentee rate. So we wanted to make sure that all students were included in our summer program. I'm especially proud that in partnership with the University of Illinois, Urbana, that we had a pre-algebra class for our students that will be taking algebra in September. So it's a collaboration, and I can't do this alone. I have to give credit to my assistant principal, Monique Hampton, because she is the one that ensured that our application was in on time, all of the schedules, and dealing with our external partners. But the students had a combination of academic for 2 hours. Then they had 2 hours of enrichment, which consisted of dance, sports, art, and drama. But our students, they want to be in school. They were willing to learn, and they were eagerly engaged. So I want to thank you for this opportunity, because it's a collaboration. And one thing I can say, that foundation position really helped, where we were able to focus on our social emotional learning as well. Daily, they had lessons. So thank you, Cito. Thank you, CEO Pedro Martinez.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us and being here today. Do we have Principal Sims on the virtually?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharnette Sims, the proud principal at York High School, where I have been principal for the past 12 years. And prior to being the principal here, I was assistant principal for 5 years. So I've got 17 years administratively at York, vested in York. I'd like to thank you guys for providing me with this platform just to talk a little bit about the programs and the impacts of OST and summer programming at York. Just like my colleague said, we did have attendance issues here at York, but as a result of offering OST and summer programming, we've been able to reduce our daily unexcused absences to less than 10%. We currently have 12 clubs operating through the summer. 60% of our student population is actually participating in the OST clubs. 85% of those students are involved in more than one club, which equates to about 4 to 8 additional hours of structured time for young folks, which is huge. Over the year, our students have recovered nearly 300 failed courses through OST and after school programming. We expect that number to grow by the end of the summer, which ends on August 2nd. And we've also had just an overall reduction in discipline. At currently, only 69% of our misconducts are classified as group 1, which are low-level infractions, resulting in restorative conversations and skill-building opportunities for students. So overall, the OST programs have really improved the students' overall school experience. It's helped students get more grounded in the educational process, and it also has enhanced the students' positive relationships and interactions with staff and other members of the school community. I would like to thank my OST facilitators and coordinator, because they have really taken OST and summer programming and made it their own. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Sims. This concludes our honoring excellence section, and I would like to turn it to Board Member Estrada for comments.
Thank you. Thank you all once again for all the dedication to have the summer be a successful one. Kudos for having great attendance as well as engagement. We know that keeping students in a safety environment not only is numbers in schools and it brings up academic success, but it also allows for communities to be safer by having safe locations and safety hubs for students and their families. As a fan of all things community schools, we know that this has a trickle effect year round. So thank you all to the countless hours put into the summer, and we hope that this will bring so much success for the years to come. And we hope that these amazing leaders serve as great role models for across the district. And we know that it is super important to have that local deep investments from community leaders. I heard, 17, 20 plus years of dedication into the public school system here in Chicago. So once again, thank you. And a special shout out to Deputy Chief Mohammed, to Ms. Robinson, and all the principals again for the countless dedication. We hope that this will be the best school districts in the books and more to come. We hope that this day one of first day of school is at 100% of attendance, and that schools on the south and west sides, we want to hear all those positive stories in the media because those things are happening. So thank you so much, and I hope to all impressed that you can take these leaders and interview them and have all those amazing stories be frontline. Thank you.
Thank you again to our team. Thank you to the principals. Again, thank you to everyone who has been supporting this summer opportunities for our students. Proceeding with my report, President Shi. With the new school year just weeks away, our principals are now deep into their planning. To support them, CPS has been offering a wide variety of professional development opportunities. One such event was the Summer Leadership Summit held earlier this month. This was an event for the school leaders, planned by the school leaders. Over the course of 4 days, more than 250 school and department leaders presented to more than 3,000 attendees. The theme of this year's summit was Change Makers in Action, and I had the pleasure of addressing the convening on the first day. Also on the second day, CEO Martinez discussed our upcoming 5-year strategic plan with our school leaders. Another highlight from day one of the summit was a dynamic principal panel sharing the variety of ways in which they're supporting the daily student experience. In addition, one entire day of the summit was devoted to our annual Instructional Leadership Team Institute, where teacher teams around the district engaged in learning and planning around enhancing the daily student experience. I did welcome the attendees for the event, 2,400 of them, teachers, principals, and assistant principals working together. Throughout the week, our principals also had their choice of 168 breakout sessions designed to deepen their practice around specific topics. These topics ranged from rigor walks to multi-tier systems of support to building understanding around our district's new continuous improvement and data transparency policy. Also, a definite highlight from the Summer Leadership Summit was the chance we had to recognize more than 200 principals and assistant principals for their leadership and professional accomplishments. This included our principal game changers for the 2024 school year. These 20 exceptional leaders represented neighborhood, magnet, options, and charter schools from every corner of our city. It was inspiring to hear them share their wisdom and perspectives, or what we like to call their secret sauce, at this year's Leadership Summit. One quote that really stood out to me was this statement from Sandra Shimon, principal of Prosser Career Academy. She said, "Talk to students about teaching and learning. They're experts in their experience and a constant source of inspiration and professional development. I can't think of a better place than a professional development conference to be reminded of how much we educators can learn from our students." Next, I would like to add information about upcoming artificial intelligence guidebook. CPS soon will be releasing the district's first ever AI guidebook, which outlines our vision for leveraging artificial intelligence to enhance the daily learning experience of students. We know that the concept of AI raises a lot of complex questions, but there is no denying that it will play a role in our students' future, which means we need to prepare them to use it responsibly and effectively. Our plan is to implement AI into our classrooms gradually over the next several school years, being careful to prioritize student safety, privacy, and academic integrity at every turn. This initiative positions CPS at the forefront of an educational innovation and preparing students for a future where artificial intelligence will play an increasingly significant role. And finally, I want to highlight an exciting success for our students from Englewood STEM High School, who recently took third place at a national competition known as Invent to Prevent. Sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, this competition empowers young people to play an active role in preventing violence and terrorism in their communities. The program developed by Englewood STEM students is called Mind Over Matt Her. Its goal is to reduce female and female bullying in high school, bringing young women together to identify and celebrate both the things they have in common and the things that make them different. This project has provided no-cost group therapy to both victims and perpetrators of female bullying, helping girls develop both empathy and positive coping skills. We are incredibly proud of this student team from Englewood STEM, both for their achievement in the competition and for their decision to take on a challenging issue and work to make it better. And finally today, I want to urge all of our students and families to attend the remaining back-to-school bashes going on around the city. Besides being a lot of fun, these events are a chance for students to reconnect with their school communities and get ready for the start of the school year. Back-to-school bashes include music, food, games, and free school supplies for the upcoming school year. District staff are also on hand to provide helpful tips about the start of the school. I want to thank our Office of Family and Community Engagement for coordinating this year's bashes and the many community partners whose generosity is making these great events possible. There are 3 bashes left between today and August 1st. Families can find dates, times, and locations on our back-to-school website at cps.edu/B2S, back to school. This is also the place to find everything families need to prepare for the first day of school, including information on academic programs, community events, enrollment procedures, medical forms, health requirements, and safety protocols for the upcoming school year. Families can also email b2s@cps.edu or call the district's Office of Family and Community Engagement at 773-553-3223 with any questions about back to school. We're looking forward to see our students on the first day of school. Mr. President, this concludes my prepared remarks.
Thank you, CEO. CEO Martinez, we are ready for your remarks.
Thank you, President Shea. I'll begin today with some exciting news about our district's new 5-year strategic plan. After many months of community engagement, as well as a lot of hard work across CPS departments, a comprehensive draft of the plan is nearing completion. I want to thank the nearly 14,000 students, parents, educators, and community partners who have played an active role in shaping the plan over the past year. Since last fall, we've engaged our CPS community through surveys, student voice events, state of the district roundtables, and our strategic plan website. Through these many engagement channels, we learned in depth about the challenges our stakeholders are facing, and we have now developed tactics within the strategic plan to address some of those challenges. Officially, we started gathering input for the strategic plan in the fall of 2023, but its foundation was established even earlier, beginning with our CPS 3-year blueprint. The blueprint was released in the fall of 2022 as a bridge to this new strategic plan. It reflected the priorities of our stakeholders coming out of the pandemic, which helped shape both the short and long-term strategies that are now part of the strategic plan. In addition, the reshaping of our district's accountability system, which engaged more than 20,000 stakeholders between 2020 and 2023, is now reflected in the theory of action found within the strategic plan. And there are many more opportunities for our CPS community to make their voices heard. From hearings on our budget, to roundtables on our facilities, to the shaping of the Black Student Success Plan, we have actively sought the feedback of our stakeholders and have incorporated their thoughts and priorities into the strategic plan. As we move into August and continue to finalize our draft plan, we will provide the community with additional updates. I'll now move to our ongoing negotiations with our partners at the Chicago Teachers Union. After the success of our first ever public negotiation session last month, we have now scheduled 2 more for the next few weeks. The first will be held at Mason Elementary School on Tuesday, July 30th, and the topic will be the student experience. Then on Tuesday, August 13th, we will hold another public session at Morgan Park High School where the topic will be finance. We invite our CPS community to attend these sessions in person or to watch them live in our district's YouTube channel. You can find complete details on the schedule by visiting our labor updates website at cps.edu/labor updates. And that is cps.edu/labor updates. CPS will continue negotiating with the commitment to equity and to ensuring that all decisions are made with the needs of students at the center. Our goal is to provide educators with the contract they deserve while staying true to our mission of a rigorous, joyful, and equitable learning experience for every student, and the duty we have to manage our district's funds responsibly. Finally, today, I want to provide a brief overview of the presentations we will see later in today's meetings. We will start with a presentation from our amazing Chief of Safety and Security, Jadine Chow, on the adoption of our new district's whole school safety policy. After a vigorous engagement process that included students, families, educators, and community partners, we are ready to implement this new policy beginning in the 24-25 school year. The policy reflects our commitment to a holistic approach to school safety. It prioritizes physical safety, emotional safety, and relational trust in equal measure, and provides strategies for building relationships, providing social and emotional support, and addressing the root cause of safety issues facing our schools. Jadine will cover the specifics in this policy along with the projected timeline for implementation a bit later in this meeting. So for now, I want to thank everyone who participated in the shaping of this policy, especially the whole School Safety Steering Committee and our partners at Build, MICVA Challenge, and Voice. Their hard work has helped shape our district's mindset when it comes to school safety, and I look forward to all of this policy will achieve in supporting our CPS communities. Our second transportation of the day will provide a much anticipated update on student transportation for the upcoming school year. I know that this issue is of huge importance to too many of our families, and I want everyone to know that we're continuing to pursue every avenue possible to get more students on buses this year. Charles Mayfield, our Chief Operating Officer, will go over the new strategies we're exploring, including shifting arrival and dismissal times at certain schools to allow for additional bus routes. We've discovered that by shifting these bell times by as little as 15 minutes can make a difference when it comes to transportation. Charles will also share details on the Hub Stop program that is being considered for our general education students. This program will allow students to pick up a bus at a CPS school near their home that would transport them to and from their assigned school location. We're excited about this option, but I want to be clear. This option will not be available for our general ed students on the first day of school. We hope to open our first Hub Stops during the first quarter and continue to expand them throughout the school year. As always, we will continue to prioritize our door-to-door bus service for our special education students and students in temporary living situations. We will also be maintaining the district's financial incentive program as an option for these families. Information will be shared with these families shortly about their transportation options for the upcoming school year. Our third presentation will be the 2025 CPS operating budget, which we will be bringing to the board for approval today. As we shared previously, this budget was created using a new model that moves completely away from student-based budgeting, or SBB, and provides positions and resources to schools based largely on student need. This budget includes more school funding overall when compared to last year, as well as increased funding for our highest need populations, including our special education students, or students with disabilities, our English learners, and our students in temporary living situations. It also doubles down on the investments that have CPS leading the country in academic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. The budget today we present today is balanced and includes a successful closing of a $505 million financial gap. I am proud that we're able to close this gap without significant impacts to school funding and while continuing to protect those investments that have led to our student amazing gains. I'm also proud that this budget creates a new standard of equity on how we fund our schools. Our final presentation of the day will focus on the capital plan for fiscal year 2025. As has been the case in recent years, CPS is prioritizing capital investments that promote equitable access to high-quality learning environments. Our focus for fiscal year 2025 is priority facilities needs. It prioritizes facility needs at neighborhood schools, and these include updates to mechanical systems which control indoor environment and air quality for our schools, increased ADA accessibility, restroom modernization, student recreation and athletic improvements, and a continued expansion of technology upgrades and other academic priorities. We've also included more funding for green initiatives to combat climate change and are aggressively pursuing grant funding to build on these investments. By embracing sustainable practices, we are reducing our environmental footprint and teaching our students the importance of taking care of our planet. I want to thank everyone who provided feedback to help inform our capital plan, especially those who attended one of our 16 community roundtables, which were hosted after the release of the district's educational facility master plan last fall. Thanks to everyone who participated in the virtual meetings held last April to gather input on what our district's priorities around facilities should be for the upcoming school year. This level of engagement we've experienced lately from our strategic plan to our budget to our public negotiation sessions with our CTU partners give me great confidence that this district knows how to work together to achieve amazing things for our students. Mr. President, this concludes my prepared remarks.
Thank you, CEO. Any questions? Seeing none, committee update, we'll move on to committee updates. Member Fahey Hughes, can you please proceed with the update on the Special Education Advisory Committee?
Yes. At the May 2024 Special Education Advisory Committee meeting, Member and Commissioner of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, Rachel Arfa, shared important information about the Diverse Learners Recovery Fund for students with disabilities. All Chicago families of students with disabilities are encouraged to apply for a chance to receive one-time financial assistance payment. The Diverse Learners Recovery Fund is a collaboration between the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities and the Ada S. McKinley Community Services. It's dedicated to aiding families of students with disabilities affected by COVID-19. It operates as a lottery-style grant drawing, offering a one-time cash grant of $500 to eligible K-12 students with disabilities. Up to 8,000 applicants will be selected through the lottery to receive the grant. Submitting an eligible application does not guarantee you will receive the funds. The Diverse Learners Recovery Fund application will be open through October 30th, 2024. For more information, you can visit www.adamopd.com or call 312-561-6965. The next meeting of the Special Education Advisory Committee will be Wednesday, September 11th, 2024, from 6 to 7:30 at Southside Occupational Academy, 7342 South Hoyne Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. We will also update the committees tab on the Board of Education's website to include upcoming meetings through 2024. We look forward to seeing you there. If you want to engage with the Special Education Advisory Committee, please email boesdac@cps.edu. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to announcements. Please use our website, cpsboe.org, if you need to seek assistance or want to meet with a board member during office hours. We encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity to meet with board members outside of a board meeting. Board Secretary, please share the details for the next Agenda Review Committee meeting and board meeting.
President Xi, due to the Democratic National Convention the week of August 19th, the next Agenda Review Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 14th at Jones High School Auditorium, 700 South State Street. Advanced registration will open at 10:30 a.m. Monday, August 12th, and will close Tuesday, August 13th at 5 p.m. or until all slots are filled, whichever is first. The next board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 29th at Coleman Office Auditorium, 4655 South Dearborn Street. Advanced registration will open at 10:30 a.m. Tuesday, August 27th, and will close Wednesday, August 28th at 5 p.m. or until all slots are filled, whichever is first. If anyone has any questions about this process, please contact the board office for our assistance. Thank you.
Now let's proceed with today's public participation session. Thank you for joining us to share your comments with the board. In compliance with the Illinois Open Meetings Act, public participation, sometimes referred to as public comment, is the portion of the board meeting or hearing that grants district stakeholders the opportunity to address the board with their concerns and comments. Note that public participation is a time for CPS and senior leadership to listen and hear from you, rather than a time for dialogue with board members during or after your remarks. While we can't discuss personnel matters, public participation is a key component of transparent governance and provides us, as board members as well as senior leadership, an opportunity to listen to everyone who signed up to speak. This board takes equity of voice seriously. While we may not be able to address your comments directly during public comment, CPS leadership is always present at our meetings and are able to address concerns as follow-ups after the meeting. As a district and as a board, we have also many other spaces for authentic dialogue. For example, each and every one of our board members host office hours so that we can have a conversation. Thank you for your attention and consideration. As a reminder, union representatives will be allotted 10 minutes to speak before public participation, and any elected officials will speak after the conclusion of public participation.
Thank you, President Xi. Members of the public who registered to speak were given the option to attend in person or via an electronic format. For those who prefer to attend via an electronic format, they were given information to access this meeting by dialing a number and using their phone. We did this so that speakers with limited or no access to the internet or who may have weak internet connection could still participate using their phones. Also, members of the public may submit written comments for Board of Education meetings via the written comments form on the board's website at cpsboe.org or mail to 1 North Dearborn, Suite 950. Written comments received between the day the public agenda was posted through 5 p.m. the day after the Board of Education meeting will be submitted to the board and published within 5 business days on our website at cpsboe.org. Speakers, please listen while I provide directions for public participation. I will call your name and number when it is your turn to speak. For speakers joining us virtually, as a reminder, to unmute, please enter *6. Once you hear your name, please state your name for the record. I will then start the 2-minute timer. When there are 30 seconds remaining, I will inform you so that you can proceed to conclude your remarks to allow for the next speaker to begin. For anyone standing with the speaker, please stand on either side of the speaker to keep aisles clear. Thank you. President Xi, before we begin calling registered speakers from the speakers list, we do have union reps who would like to address the board. We'll begin with Jackson Potter, CTU Vice President, who is here in person.
Thank you all. Sorry, it took me a little time to get up here. Man, we should just camp out. We've been seeing a lot of each other. A lot of dialogue. It's important. I'm proud of many of the things this board has done this year, and the stakes are high. Decisions are hard. You may have noted that the budget hearings you all held were the biggest in the district's history. I remember being one of 2 people in the 2010 budget cycle who attended a hearing. So bravo for engagement. People should be involved in these questions. I was just at the Houston American Federation of Teachers Convention. And you may remember librarian Tara Donnelly came and spoke at the budget hearing about how Houston has more librarians and libraries in their schools than Chicago. This is despite a state takeover. They're converting libraries into testing centers, and in-school suspension spaces and reducing their footprint drastically. So that is not a reputation we want to be better at than Houston. And I think this budget allows us to conceive of a different path. I also heard from educators from Yonkers. They forced the state to alleviate a $100 million deficit and the layoff of over 100 staff this year by borrowing at a low interest rate from the state itself. And that is enabling them to wage a more robust revenue campaign, though they are taking on more debt. There's similar stories I'm hearing about cuts that are pending in Illinois. Districts as far as Oswego, East St. Louis, North Chicago. New Haven, teachers are starting a campaign to tax the endowment of Yale University, which is a multi-billion-dollar endowment. We've got a couple of those in town. So I think we've got to start saying those things out loud together in unison. What's available? Who needs to pay their fair share? And with bargaining starting to sharpen up and blossoming, the stakes are higher. And so CEO Martinez, I'm gonna be a little harder on you. The union president from San Antonio, Alejandra Lopez, you may remember her, at Houston's convention shared some cautionary tales about your tenure with us, saying there was a disproportionate focus on austerity and over-reliance on budget gimmicks and technology, charter expansion, privatization. Facilities were neglected that caused schools to shut down for a week. 300 teachers were given pink slips during Teacher Appreciation Week, and that you came more from the world of finance than the classroom. They're closing schools there now. I sincerely hope they are not a harbinger of what's to come for CPS. We've been through that. We don't want to go back. And as I'm sure some of you realize, we require more than degrees in accounting to meet the needs of so many Black and brown students in poverty, depending on us every day. It's why not filling critical vacancies is a problem. WBEZ says 210 million of next year's budget relies on a ghost payroll of nearly 10% of the district's vacancies that will remain vacant, or relying on other tricks to pass a budget with a big hole in it, and then turning around and blaming educators asking for additional staff in contract negotiations, or asking for raises that help alleviate the inflation that has eroded our ability to pay bills, just like working people across the country. So we hope that whatever you do doesn't set the stage for that kind of blame game, and that it enables the increased bilingual supports for our students with disabilities, the resources for homeless students who have increased in number sizably over the last year, ensures lower class sizes. I know that's been promised by the new equity formula. I don't believe it. I think there's some gaps in how the district's talking about it and what will actually happen in the fall. And then obviously healthier, greener schools. That's what the budget needs to reflect, in my opinion. And in our opinion, it can't include things like laying off restorative justice coordinators, which it currently does. It's the same year you're implementing this whole school safety plan. You've got young people from Brighton Park Neighborhood Council, from STOP here today, and I hope we all listen to them when they talk about the mental health needs of their peers and why transitioning away from police is the correct path, but requires additional resources, people who have the capability and competence to aid in that transition. We have to make the case that critical investments are necessary. We have to be honest about the costs. Otherwise, it makes our effort to get state funding for its own equity formula and evidence-based formula much less persuasive and effective. It jeopardizes our growing campaign to win that very revenue. It's also why I would contest the characterization that the district's aggressively pursuing grants to help alleviate some of the environmental needs of our facilities. We did have some success 7 months ago of securing electric buses. That's because the union insisted on it. It wasn't a district initiative, let's be clear. And it's been 7 months since we've been invited back to the table, despite formal things that we've asked to help get this party started. I just read a report that US Bank could fund the entirety of solarizing the district, no upfront costs, and it would save you $100 million instantaneously. Why don't we know about these things? That would help a lot to alleviate the budget gap. Also, there's always been a narrative that separates school and city budgets, and I think it's a false narrative. We have to make the case that the state should pay for pension costs, just like it does everywhere else besides Chicago. The current situation disguises that inequity as a city expense. It isn't good for advocacy, even if it's an unintended consequence of what you decide today, by keeping all of those expenses on city books and not claiming some mutual responsibility. We all are in this fight. Previously, Rahm and Lightfoot would burden the district with more pension obligations, close mental health clinics in schools anyway, right, on the flip side. They would deny efforts to expand affordable housing and homeless services. Now we've got a mayor who's refusing to cut schools, who wants to reopen mental health clinics, who wants to invest in affordable housing, who wants to ensure that our neighborhoods that were neglected for decades are robust. A mayor who is committed to finding new revenue for both the city and the schools. And we have to deal with the conundrum of robbing Peter to pay Paul in a more direct way, and the consequences of your decisions on the city side and vice versa. That's all of our mutual responsibility. So we have a governor that has shown a willingness to tax the rich, but not fully fund schools. And I think, you know, we can be heroes if we can get the decision makers to the table to agree that this is a priority, a moral imperative.
You have 2 minutes remaining.
Thank you. I think we should make the case that the state pay the pension costs for CPS, like everywhere else. I think we should make the case that all schools deserve more funding in this moment where federal funding is about to vanish. I think we've got a Democratic National Convention coming here, don't we? I think we've got Kamala Harris speaking at the American Federation of Teachers today. We've been told that schools will be a priority. I think we have a governor who's being considered as a vice president. I think both him and Brandon Johnson are hosting. So I'm sorry if I don't have any Pacino for you today, but I'll do a David Bowie impersonation. We can be heroes just for one day. Please consider these things and good luck today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The next union rep is Jen Conant, CTU Charter Division Chair, who is joining us virtually. Please enter *6 to unmute.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, members of the board and CEO Martinez. Today I'm going to talk about charter management organization budgets and charter school budgets broadly, and we'll also speak about the situation at Chi Arts, also known as Chicago High School for the Arts. We know that CPS has overhauled the way they budget for CPS schools, but it is still essentially using student-based budgeting at charter schools. Some of our schools have seen increases, some have seen decreases, but changes in funding at charter schools for the coming year have been closely tied to enrollment. Chalkbeat reported that overall, funding for charter schools remains steady. There are problems with the funding model, particularly for small alternative schools who could use additional funding because of the high needs of their students. We hope this board and CPS will think thoughtfully about funding models for alternative schools in the future. But we also think it's important to look at how charter networks use the funds that CPS gives them. In the charter space, there's often a shell game where money comes from CPS, goes to a charter holder like YCCS, which takes a cut, then goes to a charter management organization that takes a cut, and then finally to the school and students. Management fees often take 15 to 25% of each dollar allocated to a charter school. Some management organizations have high-paid administrative positions. Others are squirreling away millions of dollars into reserves and investments. Did you know that the 5 largest charter networks in Chicago hold $260 million in reserves, and that is equivalent to nearly half of their annual expenses? Learn is the biggest culprit in this group, with the equivalent of 73% of their annual expenses in reserves. While having some money in reserves is reasonable, holding on to this much money is not reasonable. It should be going into the classroom and filling critical areas like special education and bilingual support. CPS has a budget gap. Is it fair that CPS is spending their money on schools and students and maxing out their budgets when charters sit on so much cash? We don't think so. Now turning specifically to Chi-Arts, we want to flag that the cuts in staffing we are experiencing there and the lack of oversight of the Chi-Arts Foundation. We've been meeting with management at Chi-Arts for impact bargaining over their layoffs in both academics and the arts. Chi-Arts has had 0 reduction in student enrollment, and yet they are laying off 3 members of the academic staff, as well as cutting a vacant position. This will be a reduction of 4 academic teachers, while they're attempting to increase their enrollment by almost a full class size. With the reduction in staff, Chi-Arts may not be able to offer students enough classes to fill a full day schedule. We do not see how it is possible for management to make these cuts and still run their school. We are waiting to receive their master schedule, but they appear to be managing on a factory model, speeding up production and telling teachers to do more with less. Furthermore, Chi-Arts is making cuts in the arts department that they claim is fully funded by the Chi-Arts Foundation. Their foundation has no accountability to the school, the community, or the public, even though the arts programming is central to what Chi-Arts supposedly offers to CPS students. The foundation staffs 9 full-time positions for the sole purpose of getting donations to fund the school. Throughout the entire year, the Chi-Arts community received multiple communications from the foundation claiming they were hitting their funding goals. In June, they announced they would be reducing their donation to the school by $500,000. It doesn't make sense. The school has no ability to hold them accountable to maintaining their funding for students' art programming, nor does the community or any of the donors have a way to view their finances transparently. The foundation was created to squirrel away money from donors in a secret space that can't be held accountable by anyone for actually funding the school. How is this acceptable? As a result of this decrease in money from the foundation, Chi-Arts is laying off 5 arts assistants, a reduction to 1 arts assistant to just a single arts assistant for the entire school. Arts assistants are essential to providing all the arts programming that Chi-Arts provides for its students. From their productions to their performances and their competitions, all the wonderful things that make Chi-Arts Chi-Arts are slated to be limited or seriously reduced due to the lack of funding provided by the Chi-Arts Foundation. In 2023, Chi-Arts had $1 million in reserves, and the foundation had $2.5 million in cash and investments. They're receiving millions of dollars from in-kind donations, and they get to decide how to spend the money, while claiming it is for the purpose of fully funding an outstanding arts educational experience for our students. Yet our students will have that education gutted because the foundation gets to decide how much of their money they will actually give to the school. The foundation should be absorbed back into the school's direct finances so the community can hold them accountable to actually funding the programs they claim to provide for those donations. As always, we are asking the board to be involved in holding charter operators accountable to serving our students well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. President Xi, we are now ready to call speakers from the speakers list, and we will begin with Dr. Angel Alvarez, speaker number 1, followed by Zach Auger, speaker number 2.
Every time I come up here, I feel you hear that sad trombone music playing because I always say something critical. That's because I care. But I want to start off this point with talking about some of the good things that CPS has done. CPS has made significant progress in expanding services to students with disabilities. Now, we still have a lot more to go, right? And we still need to have better opportunities to have universal screening for our students. But we're moving in the right direction. And believe me, I will come up next time with more information on how we can do even better. Let's talk about LSCs. LSCs have limited input in their budgets or the change in personnel that are affecting their schools. This includes the transfer of special education support staff and the transfer of custodial workers. You can't talk about empowering LSCs while denying their ability and our ability to fully support our students. CPS is still touting this recovery, claiming that last year students were doing better than they were before the pandemic. I showed you your own data to show that's simply not the case. And any gains in recovery, which were earned in hard work by our teachers and staff and students, they have to contextualize a significant drop in low-income students. Our student population now is different than it was in 2019. The budget. CPS bureaucrats are claiming to have saved $500 million without significantly impacting student learning.
Speaker one, you have 30 seconds remaining.
If this is not accounting trickery, then why the hell was this not done years ago? We need to have honest and transparent discussions about the budget. We need to give the budgets of local schools, make them public, and we need to bring accountability about where this money is going to make sure that we serve our students the best we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker, Zach Auger, speaker number 2, followed by Maria Ugarte, speaker number 14.
Good morning. My name is Zach Auger, and I am a CTU member, and I'm entering my second year as a physical education teacher at CICS Northtown Academy. I am also a proud alum of the school. I pivoted to teaching last summer after spending 5 years working as a strength and conditioning coach in professional and collegiate team sport. Coming back to Northtown, my primary goal has been to provide vastly improved access for students in the wellness space and create a safe environment that our students can be excited about learning in. A majority of our charter school families do not have access to quality wellness facilities, and I strongly believe that it is our duty as a school to help bridge that gap. We've made some strides this past year, but still have a long way to go. Our weight room space was not designed to be one. It is only big enough for 12 students to safely use at a time, but our classes have up to 28 students. Some of our students are unable to even use the weight room due to limits in ADA accessibility, leaving me to do what many teachers do, adapt a curriculum due to the lack of equipment and materials available to all students. A majority of our exercise equipment is also secondhand, and many pieces are in need of frequent upkeep or replacement entirely. We also simply don't have enough equipment to meet the demands of an entire class or the diverse physical and mental needs of our students. We have met with vendors and created renderings. We have broken down budgets that would fulfill our needs. We have started donation projects and submitted grant applications. We're doing the work. Unfortunately, all the grassroots efforts, thank you, keep coming up short. There are student athletes on our track team that are literally inches away from being state qualifiers, but we don't have the equipment that they need to practice their event. For them and other students at our school, this could mean the difference between getting a scholarship or not. There are other students who have accessibility needs that would benefit immensely, physically and mentally, from what we could offer, but we either lack access or the equipment necessary to meet their needs. Our students deserve these opportunities in order to ensure our students get the most out of their time at our schools. Charter schools like CICS Northtown Academy need a voice in decisions and policies that affect our budgets. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker, Maria Ugarte, speaker number 14, who is joining us virtually. Please enter *6 to unmute.
Sí, buenos días, ¿me escuchan?
Please proceed.
Sí, ok. Buenos días a miembros de la Junta Directiva, señor Martínez, directora general, señora Fanny Diego Álvarez. Mi nombre es María Luisa Ugarte y soy la vicepresidenta del LSI en Interamérica. Una vez más, quiero agradecer a CPS y a la Junta de Educación por dar un gran paso para comenzar a traer equidad a todas las escuelas públicas de Chicago. Durante la reunión de la Junta Directiva de mayo de este año, escucharon a varios padres de la Escuela Interamericana presentar nuestra situación. En resumen, el director entró en el sistema de CPS el presupuesto de nuestra escuela sin consultar a los maestros, a los padres ni la aprobación del LSI. Hoy hablo aquí por tercera vez porque no se ha hecho nada, no se ha resuelto nada. Y me preocupa la forma en que se está tratando a los concilios escolares con respecto a la aprobación del presupuesto. Estoy aquí porque nuestro trabajo como LSI electo no ha sido honrado. También hablo nuevamente para recordarle a la Junta de Educación que esto es una violación directa del Código Escolar de Illinois, no solo del CPS, sino del Estado de Illinois. El Código Escolar dice claramente que el presupuesto debe ser aprobado por el LSI y no puede entrar en vigor hasta que haya pasado por el proceso de votación y aprobación. Quiero dejar claro que no estamos pidiendo más dinero o recursos. Estamos pidiendo que el presupuesto que cuenta con el aporte de todas las partes interesadas, que es el que aprobó el LSI y que se alinea con la misión y la visión de nuestra escuela, se cargue en el sistema. CPS ha estado trabajando arduamente para mejorar la confianza de los padres. Necesitamos que las acciones de la
Orador
Junta
número
de
14,
Educación
te quedan
continúen
30 segundos, por
en la
favor,
dirección
concluye.
correcta. Es precisamente en nuestros momentos donde las familias pueden ver si las palabras y las acciones coinciden. Le pedimos que actúe y arregle esto. Los padres, maestros y miembros de la comunidad que fueron elegidos para representar a nuestra comunidad escolar aprobaron un presupuesto. Le pedimos a usted, CEO Martínez, a la Junta de Educación y a la directora de FEIS, señora Fanny Diego Álvarez, que tomen medidas y respeten este presupuesto. No hacerlo contradice no solo las políticas de CPS, sino el Código Escolar de Illinois, además de fomentar la desconfianza y no ahorrar la democracia en nuestro país. ¿Por qué tener un LSI si no será
Por favor,
respetado?
concluya.
Corrijan este error y sigan no solo sus propias políticas, sino también el Código Escolar de Illinois. Gracias.
Gracias por sus comentarios.
We'll have our translator translate the statement.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Sure. Good morning, board members, CEO Martinez, FACE Chief, Ms. Fanny Diego Alvarez. My name is Maria Luisa Ugarte, and I am the LSE Vice Chair at Inter-American. Once again, I want to thank CPS and the Board of Education for taking a very big step in beginning to bring equity to Chicago Public Schools. During the May board meeting of this year, you heard several Inter-American parents present our situation. In summary, the principal uploaded a budget without consulting teachers, parents, or the LSE, or without LSE approval. I am speaking here today for the third time because nothing has been done. Nothing has been resolved, and I am concerned about the way school councils are being treated regarding budget approval. I am here because our work as the elected LSE has not been honored. I am also speaking again to remind the Board of Education that this is a direct violation of the Illinois School Code, not only of CPS, but the state of Illinois. The school code clearly says that the budget must be approved by the LSE and cannot take effect until it has gone through the voting and approval process. I want to be clear that we are not asking for more money or resources. We are asking for the budget that has the actual input from all stakeholders, which is the one the LSE approved, and which aligns with our school's mission and vision to be uploaded into the system. CPS has been working hard to improve parents' trust. We need the actions of the Board of Education to continue to be in the right direction. It is precisely in these moments that families can see if words and actions match. We ask you to act and fix this.